2, 1.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. Commissioners check-in for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. It's 1:34 p.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board. Vice Chair Commissioner Wayne Fournier on Zoom. Commissioners Carolina Mejia and Emily Klaus here, and Commissioner Rachel Grant is excused. Public virtual attendance will be available. We're trying to live stream, and if that's not working, it'll be recorded and posted later. So this will be available at some point for public dissemination. Written public comment may be received up to 2 hours in advance of the meeting and distributed to the board. Action may be taken at this meeting. Before we get on to the item 1, my understanding, Commissioner Klaus, was that we were going to entertain a motion to postpone your proposed item. And so you want to go ahead and just make that motion?
Yeah, I'll move to postpone the proposed BOCC Finance Subcommittee item until all commissioners are available to be present. So hopefully next week.
Let's just go with a 1 week. Then.
Okay.
I'll second that. Any discussion on the motion? Call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 4. So that item passes, and so this items 2 sub 1 will be moved to next week's commissioner check-in. So first up on the revised agenda is the reports on external boards and commissions. Commissioner Fournier, do you want to start? Do you have anything?
Sorry, I don't have anything to report this time.
Okay, Commissioner Klaus?
I don't have anything to report, but I will next week. We have our Regional Housing Council meeting tonight, so.
Okay, anything on the agenda that you're aware of?
Well, yeah, there are things on the agenda.
You guys were talking about having a retreat at some point?
What's that? Oh, we are going to be talking about the follow-up to our retreat tonight. We weren't able to get full attendance confirmed for either of the dates that were proposed. There was one that Lacey wasn't available for and the other one Yelm wasn't available for. So we're just going to discuss it tonight at the meeting and try to come up with a date that everyone can make work. Or if not, then we're going to just have our follow-up meeting at a regular RHC meeting so that we know everyone will be there.
Okay. Should we hear?
Yes, so attended intercity transit, and they gave the Bicycle Community Challenge stats. So during this year's Bicycle Community Challenge that runs for the full month of May, 702 people logged 5,792 rides, which covered 76,497 miles. So that's pretty exciting. And then other than that, I had my orientation and first meeting with the Washington State Partnership Council of Juvenile Justice. And then I attended a session on youth homelessness and system involvement. And then also attended the Thurston County Food Bank's breakfast fundraiser.
Okay.
How was the PCJJ?
It was pretty great, yeah.
Anything happened that was relevant to anything we're talking about at the board level?
Not this last meeting.
All right. Just, let's see, ticking through, there's no real committee reports. County manager and I met with Lacey about their kind of annexation study, and there's going to be more to come on that. We gave them some ideas and thoughts, and they're going to go back and work through some scenarios with staff and that we can talk more specifically about.
And then that's going to come back to the full board for discussion.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll be sending out some, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Sending out some information that the city manager will be sending to me.
Okay.
But the goal would be, if they're available at the August planning meeting, to have them come so we can have a joint conversation. And they being the city manager and the mayor.
Like our planning session, have them as guests. Maybe. What's our thought in terms of timing? Commissioner Fournier and I attended this pretty interesting, I'd call it an open house. It wasn't a house, it was an open, well, it was a house and some 93 acres of land.
Oh.
That Commissioner Fournier and I managed to get lost in the woods during a walk, but the Chehalis tribe is working with Conservation Northwest to seek funding for some conservation land that connects directly to the wildlife corridor work that's being done by the state. So that could be really exciting. And they've also done outreach to all the adjacent landowners. And so they're working through the hard work of getting this corridor established. So that was pretty cool. I had a meeting with Port Blakely, one of the local timber groups, their representative, to talk about kind of where we come from on the DNR issues and what their perspective is. And they've got some exciting projects. They're going to take me down to a place near Black River where they're working on a conservation project with some other folks. And we just kind of opened a dialogue, so there'll be probably more to come there. I attended a webinar on delivery of Indian health services, and that was interesting. It was the executive director of the AIHC, that American Indian Health Committee or something like that. That's kind of the state-run committee. And the first third of it was a 2-hour webinar, or hour and a half. I had to leave right before it was over. It was kind of like background that I kind of already knew about the history of the tribes and their lands claims and the treaties, and then how we got to where we are. But then it got really specific in terms of how their health services are funded and delivered, and therefore, like, if our crisis responders like encounter a tribal person somewhere in the community, like what to do, who to contact, what questions to ask, like how those things could it was pretty interesting. Some of it was a little in the weeds, but a good opportunity to learn. The last thing I'll highlight is, if you guys remember, for Board of Health, we had Dr. Wheat come, and he gave input into the heat wave related to the emergency management plan. Mm-hmm. Well, now he's plugged in the same way into our comp plan chapters and showing us where we could strengthen the language potentially, and backing that up with some of his information. And I've connected with the county manager on just facilitating a meeting so that he could provide some direct feedback to staff that's working on it. And so just to know that that's kind of going on. So yeah, he always has a lot of good information about how vulnerable we are to heat events. And there's been some examples in the mortality or whatever is pretty significant. There's been one in British Columbia and down in Oregon, and the communities were unprepared. And he thinks that there's some pretty low-hanging fruit to make us better prepared, I guess, is the nuts and bolts of our meeting. So that's it for me. Any other commissioner items now that we've removed number 1? Hearing none. That's about it then. Next up for the board is next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, we have, I guess maybe a good time to just mention, we have our elected official social, and we're trying to increase RSVPs there. I saw like 54 or something. Didn't sound too bad, but with Lieutenant Governor Heck, we want a good showing. So don't forget about it. Spread the word, who you see, and try to get people to come.
Sent out an email with ability to post directly to social media, the invitation. So appreciate staff putting
So that should be easy to use. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. Anything else before we adjourn? Okay, we're adjourned.